Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of the Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast for the year of 2023. As always, I am your host, Macaulay Culkin. I am joined here by the first man to three rings. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I'll let you have those honors for once.
Not one, not two, but three championships. 4-year commissioner, Zachary, Dominator, Stewart. So,
I'll let you
um,
have it. This is your celebration
man,
episode. I've had two of these.
yep.
You get to guide us today because it is your celebration.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We were talking pre-show, going back to the Hall of Records. Um, the last four championships are this podcast right here. I mean, um, myself this year, Dalton back to back, and then myself the year before Dalton. So, Bill, if you're out there, you are the last person to win, not named Dalton or Zach in the last 5 years. So,
Oof, feels bad, man.
congratulations, Bill. Yeah, everyone else, keep fighting. I talked to Luke; he's still pretty bummed out. 0-5 in the semis, and not to
At
top
least
it
he
off.
made it to one in the Dynasty League.
Yeah, he made it there. It didn't quite work out in his favor, um, but yeah, I'm stoked to be back on top. I went out with Blaster, before the game started last week. We had a good dinner and just chatted. We just both knew that the trophy was coming back to Sheridan one way or the other. Um, Obviously he was, hunting for his first trophy, but and I was hunting for my third. But yeah, it's coming back to Sheridan and I'm taking it down, man. That's my third title in 10 years, fifth title game overall. Um, it's been great. I know it was a very competitive year, honestly, in this league. The top hat, like everyone was pretty close, minus the bottom couple teams. Even Sackett was really close making the playoffs. Brinkman made a run late too, but everyone was pretty tight. Garrett had a really good team. You had a phenomenal team. Luke had a good team. He sustained some injuries, but like everyone had, players that carried them all the way through. I always felt one of the strengths of my teams, though, was its depth. I felt like I drafted pretty well, made pickups in the right time, but yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate, with having Jalen Waddle, and he got hurt, and it didn't even phase me, because my felt like my roster was very deep where I plug and played. I could have played HN this week. I could have played Jerome Ford this week. I could have played Zamir White this week, without him, and
Yeah,
they all would have done fine.
you had two top five wide receivers on your roster, so that helps.
And two top seven running backs as well. Um, if you look at Kyron, Kyron was phenomenal. He missed sorry, not 7 games. He missed 5 games and or 4 or 5
Still ended up
games.
as running back five.
Yep, and yeah, but on a points per game, he was running back two behind only McCaffrey. In all the games he played, he averaged 21 and some change. So that was sweet. I was really glad I got him after the week one waiver wire. Sorry, Cole. You did draft him and then dropped him substantially before week one started. I saw that little nugget as I was kind of cruising through stuff over the last couple days. Um, but Kyron, man, he ever since he came back from his injury, he's been the last 6 weeks, and he's been back for 6 weeks, and I've won six in a row. So to round it out.
Didn't there used to be little pie charts that explained where like the player distribution of rosters was? Was that not
No,
accessible in the off season?
it should be like how much your starters scored versus.
No, no, no. Like drafted players, free agents, trades.
Oh, I think that's in the off season. Um, I was kind of going through my lineup to see, again what that portion was. Um, Obviously in my starting lineup this week, um, Mahomes, I drafted Brees Hall, I drafted Achan, I drafted Amon Ra and AJ Brown. I did not draft Tucker Kraft. Did not draft Dalton Kincaid on that roster. I believe I did. I traded for Jalen Waddle. I believe I did not
I think he
draft
traded for
Rock.
Fields.
No, Blaster has actually Blaster dropped him. Like
Oh,
going into his like second he had like 2 weeks ago left on his injury and he was just done with it. And so I picked him up and spent all my the rest of my money, which was about 240 at the time. Just to kind of block everybody. I did play him in some key spots, which was great. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I picked up Rashi Rice. I don't think I drafted him.
I
Um,
don't think so either.
yeah.
Patrick
Um,
Mahomes is just bad for return on investment this year, but
yeah, like I actually, like first round pick was Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was a hit. AJ Brown, second round, hit. Not the last 6 weeks. He didn't break 20 points the last 6 weeks. Third round was Mahomes. I survived that third round, but kind of in that area, I kind of survived like that's where T. Higgins went. That's where um Calvin Ridley went. I can't remember who you took at the turn, at the 3-4 turn. Um,
somebody good.
Probably Keenan Allen. So I actually like dodged that landmine, honestly, late in the season. Um,
Oh, because I went Bijan ETN. No, I went Lamb
Lamb,
Bijan
Bijan, and then ETN
and then ETN
and
Keenan Allen. It had to have
Keenan.
been.
And yeah, so I actually dodged the ETN and Keenan Allen late
Which
season stuff.
yeah, you dodged the late season stuff because I mean you probably didn't have those two dudes rated very highly in your draft board initially, but
Yeah,
obviously that worked out for me.
yeah, and that's where I
But
mean that's why I took Mahomes over those guys. I'm gonna see where I picked up um Rashi Rice.
I wonder if I still have the draft photo on my phone.
I picked up Rashi Rice in week 5 for $2.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. Because after yeah, and it wasn't like he had scored 11, 6, 4, 10.9, 6.2, and then the last 6 weeks of the season he scored 24.7, 14.4, 18.2, 24.10, and then 11.7 and 17.7. He finishes as total points wide receiver 21. So I had three top 24 receivers if you go down to Rashi. I mean, and I don't know what Waddle finished as, but um, yeah, big pickups.
20,
Like,
29.
yeah, so so four top 30 receivers, um, along with multiple um, good running backs. I know HN didn't finish very high, and well, that makes okay. He finished as running back 24 in total points. So I had three top 24 running back or four top 24 running backs as well, because Jerome Ford finished as running back 14. So
It's
um,
pretty good.
kind of just had everything going for me there. Definitely had a deep roster. So yeah, and got some good weeks when it counted from Zamir White. Um, I drug along Dalton Kincaid for the title after I had him for quite a while, and he was kind of pointless the last couple of weeks. But I made the switch to Tucker Kraft this week, and like I said, Blaster had a really good lineup. But um, 140 is nothing to to sniff at, and he had a really good game too.
It probably also makes you feel good that no one would have beat you in the championship week to get a
Hmm.
11 and 0 in the last week
Yeah,
is pretty nice
it is really
because it
nice.
makes you like makes you feel better about the whole situation.
Yeah, it really does. Going into the last week, and no one can say, "Well, if I was in the championship game, I'd beat you." Like, well, you didn't get there. Um, but
And you
yeah,
wouldn't have won.
yep. And so I've put up a couple pretty good weeks last couple weeks, and yeah, to score 170. Um, I don't know exactly what the record is, but I think that's the highest scoring championship
Oh, in
game.
championship game,
Yeah, I'm
it's
pretty
very
sure.
possible.
Yeah,
I think we can go back and look at that still,
yeah.
in the history.
Yeah, I can do that if we just want to vamp and we can just kind of
Um,
talk and
yeah. So I'll talk. Obviously the only other matchup that really mattered was
there was two more technically.
sure.
Yeah,
The
theoretically.
Yeah, the toilet bowl was the one that I thought really mattered because
Yeah.
Sackett was in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he escaped. He took the lead Sunday at like 1:15
Hmm.
Mountain Time and never looked back. It was a DJ Moore 32-yard grab
Hmm.
that got him the lead, and that was all she wrote. DJ Moore obviously had a ginormous game, and so did Devontae Adams, which is hilarious because um, Devontae Adams is probably one of my least favorite fantasy football wide receivers to own.
Hmm.
I've had him before. It's just not fun. He just like doesn't show up in the juicy matchups and then just randomly will go off.
Yeah.
Like he had 1.4 in week 16 and then had 37.6
Yeah.
in
They
week
kind of
17.
just force fed the hell out of him.
Yeah, he had 42 points in week 3 and just like those two games really inflated his rank. He is
Uh-huh.
ranked as the 11th number 11 wide receiver, and I can tell you there's probably 15 guys I'd rather have.
Yeah. Can you see my camera or is it closed off?
Oh, I can see you.
Okay. If we want to
Oh,
go
look,
back.
I can see your 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 label as who you are too, aka three-time champ. Good for you.
I will go back through the last years, at least when we've done full PPR, double flex. So last year
What is
you
that, three
won.
years?
Uh, no, so yeah, so the last four.
That's four, okay.
Last year you never mind, redacted. I don't want to mention that score. Um,
What is the
you
score?
you won 139.78 to 137.
That's right.
Yeah, without Josh Allen's score. Um, the year before you beat Sackett 145.18 to 133.96.
I don't remember it being that close. That's impressive. I thought it was a lot bigger of a margin.
2020 was my championship year. Um, my last championship when I beat Cole, I scored 163.62 to 127.28. I also 11-0 that week. Hmm. So that feels good about that one as well. That was when Cole and I ran the table all year. We were both 10-3.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that feels good. Yeah, 11-0 that year too. 2019 when Bill won. Bill beat me 132.36 to 112.5. 2018, I think this is where no, we still had double flex in 2018. Um, this one gives it a run for the money. Sackett beat me 159.12 to 138.16. Um, yeah, just going back and looking at those rosters,
So
like
how much did Bill score again? Was it like 140?
137.
Yeah.
Um, and so 2018 is when we installed the double flex. Because I believe
Okay.
2017, I don't think we had double flex when Patrick won. No, we did have double flex. We did. We've had double
I
flex for quite a while.
I didn't
Um,
realize that we had it for that long.
Patrick won. That was one of the lowest scoring, 109.34 to 97.44.
Are you sure that was double flex?
Yeah, it was. I'm looking at it.
Wow.
Um, Patrick's winning lineup: Cam Newton, Miami Dolphin Kenyon Drake, Christian McCaffrey, Larry Fitzgerald, Devin Funchess, Vernon Davis, Jordan Howard, Jamal Williams,
I love
kicker
that you can go
kicker
back that
defense.
far in history. That I don't know if any other platforms do it like that, so that's cool.
Blast Sleeper does. Um,
Okay.
and then Blaster's starting lineup: Tyrod Taylor, Devonta Freeman, Seattle JD McKissick, Doug Baldwin, Keenan Allen, Zach Ertz, Randall Cobb, New England Brandon Cooks, kicker defense. It's just awesome. Looking at these rosters on the Ted Ginn
Did
on
he start
Dolphins.
Devontae Freeman that week?
Yes. That
Okay,
was
sorry, I missed it.
that was his um
Jersey, yeah.
jersey. Yeah. Speaking of jerseys,
Oh yeah, I gotta order yours.
oh yeah, for baseball. The decision is not final on my part. Neither is Blasters. We will be getting those in the next couple months as jerseys kind of restock. But from my understanding, not Dalton, Blaster is most likely going to get a Devontae Smith or a Isaiah Pacheco jersey because Pacheco is pretty good with him down the stretch.
Um, Devontae Smith would be pretty sick.
Yeah, Devonta Smith would be pretty sick. Um, I'm in between two jerseys. Um, there's a bunch that I think would be really sick, but um, you want to take a guess?
The
There's two.
Monroe St. Brown.
That's one.
Um, Kyron.
Yeah, Kyron would be dope. It's actually
The
funny.
Rams jerseys do look really cool.
Yeah. By the way,
I'm looking at one over here.
I was going through my jerseys,
Not that
and
one. It's
every
over there.
year that I've won, I've gotten a receiver. Mike
Uh-huh.
Evans, Devontae Adams, all single
I have two
all,
receivers too.
and then my losing teams, I've had a tight end and a running back. I'm torn because St. Brown was a stud among studs, took my number one pick, and was scored 20 points a game all year long. Um,
It kind of
and
sucks how right Matthew Berry was because he's normally not that right. You know what I mean? Like Matthew Berry has been a Monroe St. Brown truther
mhm,
all year long, and it paid off for him.
mhm. And then Kyron technically averaged more points per game than Amon-Ra. Who knows what would have happened during those 4 games that he missed, but um, I paid the big bucks for him after week 1. I believed in it, and I've played him every week since, and every week since he's come back from his injury, um, and I've won 6 games in a row. So it'll be, I don't know really what I want to do, but it's going to be one of those two. A Brees Hall one would be sick. He was fantastic down the stretch. AJ Brown was good, but he kind of was not great down the stretch. It would be kind of funny if it was we both got Eagles jerseys if they both were.
Yeah.
I also thought it'd be kind of funny if Blaster would get a Jared Goff jersey and I'd get an Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because Goff was definitely carried him along the way as well. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to add another uh jersey to the collection. I need to get some sort of shadow box like that you have, Dalton, in the background.
Yeah, they're
Um,
nice.
yeah, but I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I want to put um
Like something in the corner.
no, I'm gonna put like all 3 of my first place jerseys in one, like fold
Oh,
them up.
layer them. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and then tag them.
I'd say Adam Thielen was probably the most surprising top 24 receiver of the season.
Mhm.
Finished at number 15.
Yeah, I know this isn't the traditional podcast as we're kind of BSing as
Oh
we
yeah, it's
come down the
over.
stretch. It's
Yeah.
over. There's no games to recap. I mean, Luke did take down another top 3 finish. If anybody really cares, that's I think Luke has 3 third place finishes and 2 fourth place finishes. Um, but he gets it done this week. And then again, Cole's a 2-time toilet seater now. So
I'm trying to figure out. For some reason, it doesn't say at the bottom. Maybe I gotta go to the. I'm trying to remember what round I drafted ETN, if it was 3 or 4. Yeah, he
um
finished as RB2, so that's pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, I look at it as total points, but I also look at points per game. Like, if you played enough games, and like, I still consider like Kyron Williams, like average wise, he was the second best running back by per average, but he was still a top 7 guy, total points too. Um, I can tell you where you drafted him. Um,
You know what's shocking?
Well,
Uh, Tony Pollard finished ahead of Saquon Barkley. Jerome Ford and Tony Pollard tied for number 14 at 206 points.
but look at the gap between McCaffrey and the next one though. Just wild.
Whoo! Like 130 points.
Yeah. And Mostert scored 20 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, just crazy how great
Man,
he
how did
was.
James Cook get all the
So
way up to 11?
I was
Oh,
well,
he
yeah.
actually was way more consistent than I thought.
I actually thought I was looking for a Scotch on the sidelines, but I forgot you changed your name to Macaulay Culkin. Um,
Yeah.
you drafted ETN in round 3.
Okay. So then it was Keenan Allen, number 4.
Yep. So let's see if these teams made your final roster. Bijan
Oh, you know what I saw? Did you know that Sam Laporta is the best rookie tight end
ever.
besides Mike Ditka? Mike Ditka in 1961 is the only tight end rookie to score more fantasy points in a season.
Yeah. If you were playing fantasy back then with Mike Ditka.
Uh, have you ever heard of these like people who will do like in the past fantasy seasons?
No.
That's pretty hardcore. So like they will draft players. Like you could look shit up, but good luck memorizing everything. I think to do something like that, you'd have to be like, all right, no technology at the drafts,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you just draft all the players from 1961 and then play it out. People do it. They do like historical fantasy seasons.
That's wild. I'm gonna go through your roster here and see which ones made your final cut. Obviously, Bijan, CD, ETN, Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Cortland Sutton, all on your final roster. Daniel Jones, no. Jacoby Myers, yes.
Yep.
Odell Beckham.
Yep.
Did you keep him all year?
No, I dropped him and picked him up a
Okay.
couple times.
Conklin off your roster, Mooney off your roster, Gus Edwards still on your roster,
Yep.
Miles Gaskin.
Nope.
Uh,
Gus Edwards actually turned out to be
yep,
a pretty good
yep.
value pick.
Higbee, Miami defense, Graham Gano. And then mine, Amon Ra, AJ, Patrick Mahomes, Brees Hall, injury to Dobbins, Watson. I finally dumped 2 weeks ago. I traded Addison. I dropped Jahan Dotson. I traded Warren, Devon Achan, round 10. Fantastic. Elijah Moore, not on the roster. Kent Gainwell, no. Marvin Mims, no. Jawan Johnson, no. Roshan Johnson, no. Here's the funny thing. I'm gonna look straight into the camera. And if I would have kept this guy, who knew how dominant this team would be? Sam Laporta was a drafted player on my roster. Um,
Ooh.
yeah,
Oh
man.
no, that
Ra
hurts.
round 16, pick 183. Um,
Why'd you drop him?
I mean, again, I'm going process over results. That's just kind of how I play. Um, I drafted Sam Laporta and Jawan Johnson. Jawan
Yeah.
Johnson was a hot name in the offseason.
He
Um,
also had a good couple first
he
weeks
did.
because of the injuries to the Saints. Yep. I don't know if he produced or not, but he was a huge name and he had a great matchup to start the season.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a great match at the start of the season and did okay. Um, but I was kind of in the mood that I like if I got kind of got locked out on the tight ends I wanted, so I was just going to stream tight end. Um, took Sam Laporta, took Jawan Johnson. Did not play Sam Laporta first week of the season, Thursday night game, rookie. He had like 9 points. Um, and then it came out that Mark Andrews was going to miss like 2 or 3 weeks to start the season. So I picked up Isaiah Likely and dropped Sam Laporta because I you
You
don't
know
know
who
what.
Isaiah Likely is.
Yeah, I know who Isaiah Likely is. We don't know who Sam Laporta is. Sam Laporta goes off, the next couple weeks, and the rest is history. And I don't get him back. But it's just kind of funny to go back and look at the draft and be like, oh man, I had Sam Laporta. Like, but would I have, you know, not? I mean, he had some rough games, but I kind of stretched some tight ends across the league and Tucker Craft and Dalton Kincaid, and I kind of plug and played other guys, um, but yeah, Kyron wasn't on that drafted team. Neither was Rashi Rice. Um, like I said, like I don't know how many transactions I had, but I had plenty. 25, 50. There's 50,
Um,
75.
to keep going with the uh, surprising person who finished as a one at their position, the number 5 quarterback in all of Fantasyland was Jordan
Jordan
Love.
Love. Mm-hmm.
Only 5 quarterbacks had 300 or more points, and he was one of them. Amongst all fantasy players, he was number 9 amongst all positions. He was the ninth best player in fantasy. That's impressive.
I had 59 ads this year.
So Tyreek Hill did not get the record, did he?
There's one more game.
Oh, that's right.
There's still week 18. But he's
He had
248, 248 yards to go.
112 catches, 1,717 yards, and 12 touchdowns.
I know we've had this conversation many times, but Lamar Jackson's going to win the MVP. No,
We actually haven't talked MVP a lot.
I think he's going to win it. No,
Mm.
I was a big CMC guy, but what Lamar's done the last 2 weeks and beating some of the two best teams in the AFC, or not the two best teams with the Niners and the Dolphins, which I can't wait to see. I love how they do the last week of the season. They don't release all the game times until after this week. So Sunday
Well,
night
yeah, they made it
football,
super weird. They're doing Saturday for the final week of this season.
two Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it's weird.
So the Sunday night game is Miami and Buffalo for the division championship.
Yep. I
Hmm.
saw a stat that said that, the Bills can be all the way from the number 2 seed in the AFC to completely out of the playoffs going
Wow.
into Sunday. That is their options of outcomes.
And you're Cowboys, man. Into the two seed now.
They did not deserve to win that game, but we'll take it. If all they have to do is beat the Commanders and they're a 13-point favorite to the hapless Commanders, the commies.
Yeah. Speaking of the bets, I'll take that dub this year too.
Yep, yep. I think there's more afternoon games than there are 11 a.m. games, which is weird.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's 7 afternoon games and 6 morning games.
Uh, how did
Interesting.
how did the work league go? Did you make the comeback?
Nope, sure didn't. Lean beat me by a lot of points. He beat me on both in both legs. He ended up scoring like 300 points. He beat me by 120 points, 119 and a half points.
Dang, man.
Yeah. But you know what? I
You won't quit though.
no, absolutely not. But I also made back my entry fee for the last 3 seasons with
Hmm.
this second place, so it works out.
Yeah, I'm torn because we do a lot of different things. Like I know some people like to play for money. I know we don't really do a whole lot of money in this league, and that was changed this year.
I like the way it shook out. Obviously, I mean, I was one of the main proponents of coming up.
Beneficiaries.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
main beneficiary and one of the main people who like worked on making the new format for the payout, but I
Yeah,
I like where it ended up.
yeah, and so all those have been paid out already. I've sent out
Oh, checks in
Venmos,
the mail.
checks in the
The
mail,
checks in the
baby.
mail.
Checks in the mail, baby. I did send your check. I put it in the mailbox yesterday. So it's on the
Checks in the
way.
mail.
Checks in the mail. But I've sent Venmos out to everyone that's won money. Congratulations, Patrick. Again, you are the Survivor League champion. That was a fun little twist for the first half of the season.
I
Um,
love that.
I
That
sent
was
out
so
all
fun.
I sent out all the skins. Obviously, the biggest winner was Dalton. He did have two skins. He was the highest skin of the year, as well as highest points and best record. So Dalton does get a nice check in the mail. Um,
One might
um,
say Dalton does Dallas.
um, the only person that
Do you remember
Garrett,
that name?
mhm, um, Garrett is rolling over his $50, so he'll only pay $50 next year for the buy-in. I asked if I wanted to mail a check or send a Venmo. He's like, keep it for next year. And so Garrett only owes um, $50 next year. I had
I
the
think
highest amount of skins. I had four out of 14. So I on top of the jersey, I do recoup my entry fee back for next year, which is great. I'm just gonna leave that in the bank, let it roll. Um, but yeah, everyone's been paid out. Good to go. We're ready to finish purchasing some jerseys, and yeah, I've been doing all that and some of the extra commish duties that have not been as necessary in the past, but um, just wait
now
for
there's
the
just
next year.
accounting
And
involved.
yeah, accounting, yeah, sheesh, accounting.
Well, couple league items to touch on. The fantasy baseball league is what's going to be coming up next. I have not looked at draft dates yet, but I will start looking at that now. I believe the first regular season game's like April 7th or something, so
April
it's not for a
7th.
while. I don't know. Let me look. MLB opening day. Why I'm not using the computer that's sitting right in front of me. Uh,
Dead
March
air.
28th.
That's opening day.
This seems early, doesn't it?
Yeah, that seems early.
Yeah, March 28th. Thursday,
Oh,
March 28th.
shit, man. We're gonna have to do it like early March.
Yeah, so I'll have to start looking at dates sooner rather than later and confirming with the people who are in
Mm-hmm.
and who are not pretty
Mm-hmm.
soon.
Yeah. I will reach out to my guys.
Sounds great. What else do we need to touch on? Obviously, I mean, there could be more rule changes up for vote. As always, if you have any ideas for anything you'd like to do to improve or move the league into a different direction, we're open to suggestions all the time.
Yeah, one thing, and we talked about pre-show on this one. Um, a lot of people, and not everyone, um, but
Some people,
some people, but I mean, we've all played on different platforms. Whether it's ESPN, whether it's NFL, whether it's
ESPN
CBS.
is clearly the worst. Well, I lied.
CBS
CBS,
is the worst.
CBS, Yahoo, ESPN, NFL, and then the top dog is one you're about to talk about.
Yahoo has to be the worst. Yahoo is
Then
terrible.
CBS, I think
Yes.
CBS is way worse because we played that year of
You're both for boomers,
Roto
man.
League,
They're both for
Yahoo.
boomers.
We did that Roto League Yahoo
So bad.
MLB, and like nothing on their website helped you at
No.
all. You basically had to research everything and then go to their website to make a
Yeah.
move.
That's why I think Yahoo's the worst. I've only played Yahoo on fantasy baseball. Worst experience ever. Um, but yeah,
It was fucking horrible.
CBS is absolutely the worst. Um, but the one that we want to propose, um, and some people may have not played on the platform already, but it is Sleeper Leagues. Sleeper is one of the fastest growing free platforms. We do play it in our Dynasty League. It's super user friendly. Um, it's just actually it's really amazing. If you get a chance to look at it, go to Sleeper. I think it's sleeper.com or sleeperleagues.com. That's one thing that we know we want to. We don't need to change it. I just um, I know we've been on this league for 10 years, and it's nice because it has all of our stats and our
History.
history.
Yep.
Um, so that's one thing that comes into effect. Granted, we do kind of keep our own records as well. Um, but
Yeah,
that's
we could always move all that information onto the Hall of Records. But yeah, that is something if people, you know, if they wanted to make that transition,
yeah,
I would not be opposed.
and one other thing and this isn't a rule change or nothing that's crazy. Yes, the waiver and I don't know, it's been not a complaint, but the waiver wire is tight. Um,
Oh,
so
I know where you're going with this.
we could either do $100 for Fab instead of 1,000, or shorten the bench by one spot. Um, that's a couple of different options. The bench by one spot would allow for obviously only 12 more players in the pool, which isn't a whole lot, but when you're fighting for extra
If
spots.
Yeah, and it
Um,
forces you to
make
not be able to
decisions.
stash as many people, and you have to make more
Mhm.
decisions on bye weeks.
I still agree. Like we've never had an IR spot. I don't think we want to have the IR
No,
spot. If we do have the IR spot, we would have to. I would if people want an IR spot, we need to shorten benches by two.
I do
Um,
not want an IR spot.
but yeah, and that's fine. Like
I think it's dumb in redraft leagues.
yeah, dynasty keeper leagues different. Um, but that's the other talk. If we want to shorten by a round, it does. I don't know. I mean, I felt like there
It
was
adds
plenty
12
of
more people
players,
to the wait. Well, yeah,
which
clearly. I
isn't
mean,
that
most of our
much.
rosters are built off of the waiver wires.
Yeah.
So clearly
So
there's plenty on the waiver wires.
mhm.
The
So
it's just I think for some people the lack of trades is what is
yes,
making people upset because of why trade when you can just pick up someone of equal value off the waiver wire, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, and trading and honestly, trading's become obsolete in the Gem City. No one really wants to trade. There might be a
because you're
few. I
afraid
think.
of losing the trade. It's just like when MLB owners don't want to trade away prospects because they're afraid of losing the trade. No one
Mhm.
wants to lose the trade.
Yeah, no one wants to be the team that loses the trade. And you may lose the trade at the beginning of the trade, but you may be the winner at the end. It's hard to justify. It's because everyone values their players differently. And that's why it's hard. So I don't know. I
I've
mean,
lost most of the trades I've made over the last like 4 years, so
and I made one trade this year.
I can remember one trade where I was like, hell yeah, I did a great job, and that was when I traded Reggie Wayne for a rookie DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. The trade I made this year, it was kind of a push. Like I traded for Jalen Waddle and I gave up Jalen Warren and Addison. Like probably lost in the long run. Um, but you kind of have to think about, those 2-for-1s. Like I am also getting that extra bench spot flexibility to pick up a Zamir White, to pick up a Jerome Ford. Like you can still win the deal even if it doesn't come out in your favor. It is really tough to trade. Like we've seen it in the Dynasty League. It's still a little tough to trade because people are still trying to figure out how to do stuff in Dynasty. Um, but I think the trading thing is fine. I don't think we need to get away with like no trading at all. Like, but just I mean something that if anyone has any ideas about rule changes or anything that we can always bring it to a vote. Um, but the biggest one that I know people have wanted to talk about is what platform we want to play on. I'm fine with NFL. Like we've played on it for 10 years. Um, it's been fine. I'm not too worried about it. But Sleeper is a fast growing platform and it's very user friendly. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. Um, and next time, if you want a tutorial, we can show it on, the screen. Maybe I'll do a little quick screen share um, of Sleeper. Um, so we're gonna go to this is just the Gem City,
You know
but
what's still ridiculous
what's that?
to look at? Sackett's team the first year is still just ridiculous. The amount of points he scored for non PPR with short teams.
I
Uh,
know.
he scored 196.6 with no PPR on
One
shorter
plus.
teams.
Mm-hmm. That
That's
that
ridiculous.
the highest scoring team, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
Um
I'm just looking through the Hall of Records. There's so much good stuff on here.
yeah, so here's Sleeper. Um
Oh, you know what story I need to add? And I keep forgetting that I need to do a little like Matt style write up on it.
yeah.
My new name.
Yeah, we need to work on the synopsis of the season.
Well,
Um
Matt was just so damn good at it.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Um this is Sleeper. This is our Dynasty League, Wild Dynasty. Um but you can go to the league page. Here's all of our matchups. Standings are down below. Recent activity. There's a league wide chat it's been pretty good. We've done a pretty good job in that. Um, your team is super simple. Um, Granted, this is deeper, has IR spots. But the players thing is the really cool part. I think like free
oh
agency is
yeah.
super easy.
Click on the trend.
Yeah, trend is awesome. Like players that are trending up, trending down. You can have them by position, you can have them by not. Well, let's go to running backs. These are the top trending running backs, at least on Sleeper. How many leagues have been added and dropped? On NFL, we only have the added button. We don't have the drop. There are different trends on the NFL app. There's a lot more on Sleeper, whether it's on the app or the website. I feel like they're both cross compatible really well. Um, Obviously trade scores, you can your normal game days like fantasy players. Um, but players it's super easy to go by. And granted, everyone's got different ways. You can actually have a DM in here. If you want to
Yeah.
send a direct message to a league mate with trades, like you can have an open dialogue instead of like,
Instead of having to go to Facebook
yeah,
or find their
exactly.
phone number.
Yep. So you can these are the direct
Especially because
messages.
the
Yeah.
notification center, like on your phone on this app, is so reactive
Yeah.
to what you want. Like you
Like
can
that,
set it up literally however you want.
like this is Dalton and I's trade chat history, of course, the entire season. Like,
Yeah, because we always trade. That is true. We
but like
always do at least one trade a day.
even with Sackett, I have all this with Sackett, Russ, Blaster, like different trades that you can kind of talk about in direct message. Um, it's super user friendly. Um, but yeah, just something that we can think about, and if we want to move there, that's great too. If not, we can stay with NFL. It doesn't really matter. Um, we're here to play the game and try to get jerseys and talk shit and you know,
Speaking of talking shit, we had a new first this year. I just realized.
what's that?
First two times toilet seat rider.
Oh, with Cole.
Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier.
I totally
Actually,
forgot.
Riverside was actually a two-time.
Oh yeah, that's right,
Mm-hmm.
Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't even know what Andrew Volan looks like. I just remember his name because he means a lot into the lore of this
Yeah.
league.
Yeah, but
Just because he
yeah,
was so bad and he talked so much shit. Oh my
and
God. It
that's the funny
was
thing.
so
Cole
funny.
Cole he's a two-time toilet seater, but he's also been to a title
Toilet
game.
seat
Like
rider.
rider,
The
yeah. Toilet, yeah.
rider.
Yeah. Two toilet seat riders for him, plus a championship appearance. Yeah. Cole's been all over the map over the last few years. Um, yeah, man. Um, Obviously everyone knows Lean's not coming back. Um, Cole, we hope you come back. It's easier to fill one spot than two. Um, that's the other decision. If
Oh yeah, if you guys just like every year, because most years we can't keep continuity.
Mhm.
If you guys have friends that want to be in a serious fantasy football league, because obviously this league is insanely competitive and very challenging. If you have some friends that are up for the challenge, I know we're all pushing 30 at this point. Actually, I'm probably the only one not over 30.
Sack it problem.
No, Sackett's like 31, bro.
31.
He's older than me by a
Yeah, you
bit.
I think you're the youngest.
But anyway, like if you have friends that want to play in serious fantasy football, they want to take the leap and they want to go to a live draft, let them know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is this an episode? Is there anything worth even talking about in the NFL? Not really, is there?
No, it's just it's closing the fantasy season down. We don't really
Yeah,
need to
the
talk
Cowboys
much.
shouldn't have won, but they did. All the Lions fans I have at work because I work with a lot of people that are come from Michigan. It's like a diaspora of Michiganites, Michiganese. I don't even know how you say that, but
Michiganders.
Michiganders. Uh, they've all been flipping me off as they see me at work.
Yeah. Did you see the
Joe
NFL
Flacco is so cool. He's the coolest dude I've ever
Joe
met.
Cool?
Actually, I haven't met him, but he is so cool.
But by the way, did you see the NFL pulled Brad Allen's crew off of playoff games?
After that, no, I
Yeah.
I heard someone talking about that. I wasn't sure if it was real or
Yeah.
not.
They pulled him off the
And
games.
the Chicago Bears have the number one overall pick. They're on the
Yeah.
clock.
Yeah.
Which I already know who I would draft if I was them. Um,
What do you
but
got?
I mean, I think because the fans want to stick with Fields and Fields is not really the problem.
No.
I think you go Marvin Harrison because he's generational talent. Like he is a stud that the Chicago Bears have literally not seen since either Muhammad Massaquoi or Devin Hester, who was not like productive. He was just electric, and Mike Ditka, legitimately. Or well, no, I mean sorry, Walter Payton. My bad. Let me bow down. They have not seen an offensive weapon like Marvin Harrison since Walter Payton.
Here's the thing. If Marvin Harrison Jr. goes number one, it'd be the first ever wide receiver ever to go number one in the NFL draft. He deserves it. Like he's
Don't they have
dude.
the one and the two?
No, they have the one in like the 7 or something.
Okay. They're probably going to trade down. Um, if they want to
Most
stick with
likely.
Fields,
Mhm.
which they probably should because he's not the problem. I mean, I don't really like him, but he's not the problem.
The only way you trade down, here's the only thing. I know we're getting off tangent. The
This
only
is
way you trade
all NFL. It's all on
the
topic.
only way you trade down is if you trade down to number 3. It's the only way you trade down because
Right,
if
because you don't want to miss out on Harrison.
because but
What is
there's
it?
rumor.
Drake May and
But here's the thing. They're talking about like Arizona is also talking about not taking a quarterback. They said today
yeah, they came
Kyler
out today. Kyler's going to come back in 24
what
because Kyler's not the problem either.
because and that means you can't trade down to 3 because Arizona's taken Marv Harrison Jr. So they're going to stay at 1 and take Marv.
Yeah, it's like not even really worth gambling that, is it?
No, I would think I would take Marv number 1, which he's going to go number 1 in the dynasty draft too.
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about that more off air.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which team drafts him, he will be number one in Dynasty.
Yes.
Because I looked through the running backs the other day because I'm trying to get some resources to get ready. It's so shitty. The highest ranked running back in the draft class is like number 72 on Kuiper's big board.
He might not. It might go back round 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the running backs are bad.
bad. Poo poo. But you know who's not poo poo? This guy, 3-time champ.
I'm
Oh
sorry
man.
we've run out of time.
Yeah. Peace.